The finalists in the men's vault competition, and the top performer in qualification is the home favourite, the man from Osijek himself, Olly, who will go second in the order. He was, however, the top qualifier for yesterday's floor final and finished in 7th place. He'll be hoping for a much stronger innings today. Keep an eye on Pau Jimenez of Spain, the 4th gymnast to go in this final. He was the 2nd strongest in qualification. Demdendorj Entushan of Mongolia, the 1st gymnast to compete in this men's vault final. He has just missed out before on a medal, and it would have been Mongolia's first ever in a worldwide artistic gymnastics competition. He was 4th in Hungary last year at the Szombathely World Cup. Let's hope he has a stronger outing than in Antalya last week, where he was the 2nd best in qualification and ended up 8th in the final. Had some trouble with his first vault. Good luck to the young man who's been developing a lot lately. He was 4th on floor yesterday. He does take quite a sizable hop as he lands the vault. But it was more secure than his opening effort in Antalya, that is clear. Just a little off axis on his landing. .95 was the qualification score for Demdendorj. 13.75, so 2/10 down for his full twisting Kasamatsu vault compared to the preliminary stage. Now vault number 2 coming up. And a double twisting Yurchenko for his 2nd vault. Demdendorj Entushan of Mongolia. One imagines that will be reasonably comparable to the qualification campaign. It's good to see him becoming more accustomed to being in finals. Promising youngster. 13.85 is the overall score. That is just a fraction up from qualification. That is because he scores 13.95 for his double twisting Yurchenko, which is a quarter of a mark better than the preliminary round. Olly of Croatia, top qualifier, 14.775, over half a mark better than the 2nd best, Pau Jimenez. The favourite to win it. Had a tricky time of things on floor yesterday, where he was the top qualifier and finished 7th. And he really does attack his Dragulescu in a big way. Olly, he looks pretty thrilled about that. That was powerful. Working on stabilising the landing, but in terms of what he does in the air, this is getting better and better. Really gets some height, and he's quite upright as he lands the Dragulescu too. No wonder he looks so pleased about that. That we expect to be the joint most difficult vault that we see from anyone in this final. .3. So he is down half a mark from qualification. That was really due to the back step and the single tenth penalty for going out of bounds. Second vault for Olly Benovic. That's a good display from Benovic, really good. Well done to him. Well, that is going to take some beating. And how lovely to see that performance from Olly Benovic after he really had a rough old time on floor yesterday. We have a look back at his second vault. Now, what sort of score? 14.85 for a 14.575. Olly Benovic in a leading position and expected to stay for a little while in the leading position. That's a 5.6 second vault for him. Handspring front layout 2.5 twist. That was actually 4/10 up from the preliminary round, so that's really important for his own credentials that he's now posting 2 5.6 difficulty vaults. Now we go to Luca Giubellini of Switzerland. Big first vault expected, and a low landing on the Dragulescu. That's his 5.6 difficulty vault. He struggled a little in qualification with it, picking up a 0.1 penalty, and he certainly will incur similar. Not quite the amplitude that we saw from Benovic, who performed the same vault. I think he just about avoids the hands going down. .75, so quite a low score for Giubellini compared to qualification, 14.45. Hard to see if there was contact with the upper body on the mat. And keeps things quite simple for his second vault, which is absolutely fine, considering that he's pushing his execution for the first vault, and if you can be hitting a 5.6 difficulty vault with quality, then you can be very useful for your team. And the Swiss team, after all, finished 5th at the last World Championship, so they have been in a pretty decent place of late. He's out of bounds as he lands that full twisting Tsukahara. Certainly seems to come down directly out of bounds. First ever senior international final as an individual for Luca Giubellini, whose father Daniel competed at the Barcelona 1992 Olympic Games. His siblings Matteo and Chiara also are very fine gymnasts. Quite some family. 13.2, that's better than qualification for the second vault. 13.475 is down by about 3/10 overall from the preliminary stage. So Benevic still leads. To Pau Jimenez of Spain, 20-year-old from Girona in Catalonia. He was the runner-up in the, or rather the third place gymnast, I should say, in the all-around competition at the National Championships last year, his first senior national medal. And he was also in the vault final at the World University Games. Oh, hello! That's a pretty fine roche. Handspring, double front tucked and landed. Consider that vault delivered. Oh, that's a crackerjack. That was emphatic. 14.7. He gets a 9.5 for execution. He's up by 6/10 from qualification, and suddenly Pau Jimenez is a contender to potentially take the vault title, if not get very close to Benevic. Just depends how sharp he can make this second vault. It could be very tight, this. Very nice, very nice. What a good display from Pau Jimenez. He takes a little step on that Kasamatsu 1.5.
The second group of 4 finalists have 1-1-1 attempts now. You may start warming up.
This really is nice. And the way he's performing that, it's clear that there's the potential to turn that into a Lopez over time, because he's still only 20, Pau Jimenez. Loses his form just a little coming into the landing position, but it's not egregious. They should score well. 14.575 is the aggregate score, 14.45 for the second vault. I said I thought it would be close. He's level with Benevic, but Benevic, by virtue of his second vault, the 14.85, is in the lead on the tie-break criteria. Single highest scoring vault trumps in the event of a tie. It's quite a difficult walk to take your seat, isn't it, when you dress like that? Well done to Jimenez. Just to contextualise that, he's giving away the best part of a full mark of difficulty to Benevic, but he still managed to be level with him because the clarity of his vaulting was exquisite. 9.5, 9.25. If he hadn't had that very small adjustment on landing, that would have been a leading position. Now, it means that it's Benevic, Jimenez and Demdundorj 1, 2 and 3 at the halfway stage. We still have Unai Baigori, Daniel Trifonov, Dusan Djordjevic and Kevin Penev to come. And there is the learned Dusan Djordjevic. He's a fascinating chap. 28, a doctoral candidate at the University of Niš, the third largest city in Serbia, birthplace of Constantine the Great, and two other Roman emperors. Djordjevic has just published a paper on injury frequency in artistic gymnastics. He has also been undertaking some scholarship on the effects of endurance training on performance in women's football. One hopes that there's a place for Dusan Djordjevic in the governance of the sport, nationally or internationally, once his career is done, because he clearly has so much academia to contribute to his great experience as an athlete. What an exciting young man we have here in Unai Baigori from Vitoria-Gasteiz in the Basque country. He's 19, made his World Challenge Cup final debut yesterday by finishing fourth in the pommel horse competition. Here's a young man with very good basic technique. His fundamentals are secure. And he opens with a Schufelt vault. The 2.5 twisting Yurchenko. A very elegant performance of that vault. Has a little tidying up to do, perhaps, of the feet. Oh, that's nice. .55. That's a jump of about a third of a mark from qualification for his Schufelt. One gets the sense that he could go further with that, because he's making it look rather simple. Does that become a Shirai one day? Yeah, very nice to watch. Very nice to watch. Unai Baigori. I mentioned about that first vault potentially becoming a Shirai, named after Shirai Kenzo. That's his absolute hero, by the way, so you can bet your bottom dollar he has thought about it. It's amazing. It all started for this young man when he went to a birthday party of one of his friends and saw people doing gymnastic tricks there. Said, I want to do that. Now look at him, he's a full international. That was full twisting Kasamatsu, vault number 2. For 13.7 for the second vault, a 14.125 average score. He increases by just over a tenth from qualification, slots into third place. So it is Benovic, Jimenez and now Baigori. To Daniel Trifonov, the young Bulgarian who made the Junior World Championship final in Turkey in Antalya last year. Tough time there, he was the top qualifier, finished 6th, but the pedigree of this young man is absolutely clear. Good start. 2.4.8 difficulty vaults for Daniel Trifonov. Again, the long-term plan there, one imagines, will be just to get an extra half twist into that vault. And he's off to a nice start. He's quite central. He's well executed. If he turns that, probably when he turns that into the 1.5 twisting Kasamatsu, that'll be a 5.2. For now it's a 4.8. 14.1, exactly the same as qualification. It's well executed. Second vault for Daniel Trifonov. He gets some nice height on his double twisting Yurchenko. He was part of the Bulgarian team that made it onto the junior podium at the European Championships a few years ago. And we have a European Championships coming up in Rimini very soon, in a matter of a couple of weeks now. Again, like his first vault, it's quite central. Keeps his arms reasonably tidy. Absolutely. Good young athlete, this. 14.3, so 14.2. The aggregate score puts Daniel Trifonov into third place. He's just managed to creep ahead of Unai Baigori, who was on 14.125, and it was really down to that improved second vault. Benovic, Jimenez, Trifonov, 1, 2 and 3. What an enjoyable vault final it is. Now, he has the potential to intercede, but the first vault has got to be better than qualification for Dusan Djordjevic. He only picked up a 13.15 for vault number 1 in the preliminary round, a 14.2 for the second vault. He won a bronze medal on vault in Varna in his 19th World Cup event last year, the first Serbian man to get onto the podium for 17 years. Oh, shame. A wry smile as the hands go down for Dusan Djordjevic. He's such a good gymnast at taking things philosophically. I tell you, this gentleman slogged away to get that medal in Varna last year. He was so proud of it, rightly so. And he does all of this, his training as an elite athlete, while studying for his PhD, publishing academic papers in sports science. It's a roche, but with a roll at the end of it. .13, so actually down a fraction from qualifying. Second vault from Djordjevic. That's more controlled. He does a better job with his 1.5 twisting Kasamatsu. He's been the national champion on floor as well. He will take a 0.1 penalty, naturally, for the side step out of bounds. Famous surname in Serbia, as I've mentioned before, Djordjevic, because Vladan Djordjevic, no relation, is regarded as the founding father of gymnastics in Serbia. He created the first club in 1882. 13.525 is the average score, 14.05 for the Kasamatsu 1.5 second vault. Now the last performer, Kevin Penev.
Representing Bulgaria, Kevin Penev.
23, born in New York and a graduate of the University of Michigan, a prestigious institution, and he has a degree in economics. He qualified for Paris 2024 when he finished 8th in the World Championship final on vault. A little issue with the form and the stability of that opening vault from Kevin Penev of Bulgaria. He scored 14.15 for both of his vaults in qualification. Generally speaking, his execution has been extremely clean in recent competitions. Round off, half on, front layout, double twist off the opening vault. .4. Now what's interesting is that he only had a 5.0 difficulty credited for the first vault in qualification. So the extra 4/10, not matched by the execution, but he is still up by about a third. Big hop there on the second vault. That was a sizable landing adjustment. And this is going to be very interesting because we've got Trifonov in third place with 14.2. Penev, after all, has just produced a 14.4. So it will be an interesting weight. That's the Kasamatsu 1.5, which is a 5.2 difficulty vault. So as long as he manages to gain in excess of, or manages to gain a 14, then he's on the podium. He'll win a tiebreak with Trifonov, whose highest scoring vault is 14.3. And there we go. He has made it. 14.3 the total score. The average score, 14.2 for the second vault for Kevin Penev, and he has got himself onto the podium. Yet again, Kevin Penev, a bronze medalist here in Osijek. He won the bronze on floor yesterday, but it's Olly who's taken the title in front of his home fans. A very special moment for him. Osijek's own has taken the gold. Olly of Croatia with the win in the men's vault title on a tiebreak with Pau Jimenez of Spain by virtue of having the single highest scoring vault, and the Bulgarian Kevin Penev takes his second bronze medal of this weekend. Huge congratulations to Pau Jimenez. It's his first ever international medal. And we'll proceed directly to the victory ceremony in the men's vault competition.
Svečanost proglašenja pobjednika u disciplini preskok u konkurenciji gimnastičara. Award ceremony for men's vault.
The victory ceremony in the men's vault competition in Osijek.
The medals will be presented by Mr. Krešimir Šamija, Director General of the Directorate General for Sport at the Ministry of Tourism and Sports. Treće mjesto i brončana medalja. Predstavnik Bugarske. In the third place, winning the bronze medal representing Bulgaria, Kevin Penev.
Bulgaria's Kevin Penev wins his second bronze medal in Osijek after finishing third in the floor final yesterday.
Drugo mjesto i srebrna medalja, predstavnik Španjolske. In the second place, winning the silver medal representing Spain, Pau Jimenez.
Pau Jimenez of Spain with a really accomplished performance on vault, despite not having the sort of difficulty that the gold medalist had. He's still tied with him on average score. Beautiful execution from the 20-year-old.
The gold medal representing Croatia,
But by virtue of the single highest scoring vault, that 14.85 for vault number 2, Arel Benovic from Osijek has won in Osijek. It doesn't get to be much better than that. A hometown win. His national anthem will be played in his hometown in his honour.
If you're able to, please stand for the national anthem of Croatia.
Lijepa naša domovino, our beautiful homeland, the national anthem of Croatia. The third verse contains the lines Drava Sava, keep on flowing, Danube, do not lose your vigour. Well, they know all about it in this particular place, for this is Osijek, where the Drava River and the Danube converge. The finalists in the men's horizontal bar competition in Osijek, and the top performer in qualification, Tang Chia-hung of Chinese Taipei, will go second to last. Olly Kiss is the first gymnast to compete. The gentleman from Budapest scored 13.55 in qualification, the fourth best. He was a medalist on the horizontal bar at the National Championships last year, finished third. Yet to win a World Cup medal. One arm giant swing. Kovac, that looked quite nice. Very good landing from Bolashkis. An effective performance there from the Hungarian to get us underway. He's been fourth on 2 occasions before this weekend in a World Challenge Cup final. best known for his performances internationally on the rings. And he is the joint reigning Hungarian champion on rings. We will see him in the rings final to complete our coverage of this Osijek World Challenge Cup as we look at him completing his Kovac. .55 in qualification, 13.35 in the final. Difficulty down by a tenth and execution also down by a tenth. The next gymnast is the young Spaniard Daniel Carrion. 19 from the lovely city of Sevilla. Made his World Cup debut in Azerbaijan last year. And although he is from Sevilla, he's based in the Canary Islands for training purposes. Big attack coming up at the start into the Coleman. And a straddle catch that really had a sense of purpose to it. It's very quick and fluid work. Gets some real height into his dismount. He's done well there, Daniel Carrion. I don't think it will be a huge surprise to see him start really contending for domestic honours in the next couple of years. He was 7th in last year's all-around national championships. Nice looking catch of that, really well delivered. In qualification, Daniel Carrion was 2/10 behind Olajkis with that score of 13.15. He is 2/10 behind him in the final two. They've both dropped by 2/10. Adam Tobin of Great Britain. To give you a sense of how close it was in terms of qualification, Olajkis on 13.55 was the 4th best, and Tobin was the 7th best on 13.35, so we could get a little movement. Tobin goes for a Coleman. And then into a Kovac. That was nice. Now a straight Kachev. 3 big release moves. Difficult to keep a sense of control in the pirouetting. One-arm giant had a nice snap to it. And there's his conventional straddle Kachev. Very interesting, bold work from Adam Tobin of Great Britain, going in search of his first World Cup medal. It's the 3rd time he's competed in Osijek, the 6th time overall in World Cup competition. Starts with the Coleman and quite quickly motored on into the Kovac. And we had a couple of Kachevs in there as well for good measure. The straight position, and later on he employed the straddle version. .13.5 for Adam Tobin. He's the first gymnast to improve upon his qualification performance, and he leads the final after 3. Small increase in Tobin's difficulty. A smaller increase still in his execution, leading to a gain of 0.15. That's good work. There is anticipation, excitement, nervousness, and many other emotions as Croatia's own Tin Srbic takes to his apparatus in his World Cup. The silver medalist at the Olympic Games in Tokyo, the world champion from 2017 and twice the runner-up at the World Championships, including last year. He's also the reigning champion of Europe. Put it simply, this man is one of the greats. Beautiful looking straight Kachev. Straddle Kachev. Very good work. Linking his Kachev skills. And then the Coleman. Well, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice from Tin Srbic? He was the 5th best performer in qualification. He's come out and really gone for the final. That's what he said to himself at the Olympic Games. In his words, we go all in. And he's very good at choosing the right difficulty for the right occasion. The 27-year-old engineering graduate from the University of Zagreb in the Croatian capital. Absolutely. That perfectly sums up the general mood ahead of this performance from one of their favourites. And I'm sure one of your favourites too, because he's hugely popular internationally, Tin Srbic. And this is going to be nothing like the qualification score, that's clear. It's way more difficult, it's just a question of by how much. Oh, what a transformation. 14.65 for Tin Srbic. His difficulty is up by 0.9. His execution up by 0.3. It is a gain of 1.2 from the preliminary round. Yet again, we see one of his most important skills, which is the ability to produce the difficulty when it matters. You cannot, as a top-level horizontal bar gymnast, do your highest difficulty every single time you compete and expect that to be what yields success. It's all about pacing yourself, and Srbic has got into the final in the way that he needed to get into the final, and he's now produced something transformative when the medals are there to be won. And it now asks a big old question of the top two performers in the preliminary round, Tang Chia Hung and the gentleman we just saw there, Alexander Miakinin. The Scottish all-around champion Cameron Lynn represented the nation of his birth at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, where Scotland finished fifth in the team competition. Now he represents the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland at large. .13.3 the score in the preliminary stage. He uses, like many, the Coleman. Does it well. And the Kovac too, keeping his swingfulness going. Just about kept the form in the straight Kachev. Straddle Kachev as well, plenty going on. Building now towards the conclusion of the routine. Cameron Lynn, very good. A smile from the young man whose confidence has blossomed over the last couple of years. He's spoken of a desire to really make his mark after what he considers to be flying under the radar. He represents West Lothian, domestic level. Didn't have the cleanest of form with the feet, trying to get clearance in that straight Kachev. Very similar to the work of Adam Tobin in terms of the construction of the release and regrasp elements. Might not be a lot to separate them. .45 for Cameron Lynn. He is in the bronze medal position, and that actually is 500ths behind Tobin, who did have an extra tenth of difficulty. To a gymnast with strong difficulty in the preliminary round, Tahar Sahani, a 5.9. He was the third best in qualification. It was well executed by the Swiss national champion. .28, he is the second oldest in the final. Good height in the first Kachev. This is going to be big, and it's successful. Couple of good-looking Kachevs. Didn't quite manage to get to the handstand position. First Yamawaki we've seen hops over well. He's so experienced, Tahar Sahani. Part of the Swiss team that made the top 5 at the last World Championships. And that was his third consecutive World Championships. The noticeable issue for Sahani was not with the release and regrasps. It was there. To have what looked like a directional change. Well performed. It's just a question of what that directional change will do. Yeah, 13.4. Difficulty is down by 4/10. His execution as well. All the release and regrasps, very nice looking. Among the finest we've seen, frankly, but it's that small detail, almost imperceptible, where he had problems with the Takamoto skill, working close to the apparatus. Tang Chia-hung of Chinese Taipei, now the top qualifier, steps up to the apparatus. This gentleman is one of the most engaging in the world on the horizontal bar, and the world has agreed with him this year because he's been brilliant in Olympic qualification. Straight Kachev, straddle Kachev, pike Kachev. Any other Kachevs? As many as you want. Casina, oh, such a whip around to the body. I think that's the first Casina we've had. Now, that's a full twisting Yamawaki. He's graceful, he's elegant, he's powerful, and he's landed well. Tang Chia-hung of Chinese Taipei. He is having a great season. And let us not forget that in Tokyo at the last Olympiad, he was 7th in the all-around competition. It's often forgotten about him because he's so highly regarded as a horizontal bar specialist. But to be the 7th best all-around gymnast at an Olympic Games, that's not something that happens by chance. Isn't that a treat though, the full twist in the Yamawaki skill. It's a very straight body in that opening Kachev. And it's how he links them all one after t'other after t'other. Could watch that all day, couldn't you? A lot of respect from Tin Serbic. Tang Chia-hung, he's easily into the lead, 15.35, a massive score, a 6.5 for difficulty. The last gymnast, Alexander Myakinin, second best in qualification with 14.25. That would only be sufficient for the bronze medal now. It's Tang, Serbic and Tobin, 1, 2 and 3. Myakinin certainly can do it, but he was 5th in Osijek last year. Sometimes he is just fabulous on this apparatus. The consistency is not always there. But he starts with a good Casina and performs a Coleman with amplitude. A couple of Kachevs. And that is an excellent landing from Alexander Myakinin, the oldest man in the final at 29. He was 23rd at the last World Championships, yet to make a final. Already a winner of 7 World Cup medals, and he needs only to go beyond the 13.5 of Adam Tobin to make it 8 World Cup medals. 14.5. He's done really well, Mjakinen. Close to the score of Tin Serbic, and a richly deserved bronze medal for him. The classified results in the men's horizontal bar competition: a stylish gold for Chinese Taipei's Tang Chiaheng, with Tin Serbic, the home gymnast, taking second place, and Alexander Mjakinin winning the bronze. The victory ceremony for the men's horizontal bar competition. What a good final this was.
Award ceremony for high bar. Medalje će uručiti gospodin Josip Miletić, zamjenik župana Osječko-baranjske županije. The medals will be presented by Mr. Josip Miletić, Deputy Prefect of the Osijek-Baranja County. Treće mjesto i brončanu medalju osvojio je predstavnik Izraela. In the third place, winning the bronze medal representing Israel, Alexander Mjakinin.
With the last performance of the final, Alexander Mjakinin of Israel took the bronze medal and took it well. 14.5 his score. That's his 8th World Cup medal, and an improvement by 2 places from last year's competition in Osijek.
Predstavnik Hrvatske. In the second place, winning the silver medal representing Croatia, Tin Serbic.
Tin Serbic of Croatia, the man from Zagreb, is on the podium in his home World Cup. It's a 19th World Cup medal for Serbic. And even for somebody as decorated as him, it's a special thing when he can get onto the podium at home.
In the first place, winning the gold medal representing Chinese Taipei, Tang Chiaheng.
But this is the gentleman who is the form performer on the horizontal bar this season. He's handled the pressure of Olympic qualification beautifully. He's almost across the line in those qualification events. Now he can feel supremely confident after this display. Another gold medal.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able to, please stand for the national anthem of Chinese Taipei.
The medalists in the men's horizontal bar competition in Osijek. The men's still rings final, the last order of business in this fantastic weekend of competition in Osijek. The top performer in qualification, Ilya Kovtun of Ukraine, has not entered this final. He's withdrawn, so that has really opened the field. Kevin Buckley, the first reserve, has come in.
Prvi nastupa predstavnik Kazahstana, the first finalist representing Kazakhstan, Roman Mamenov.
Roman Mamenov of Kazakhstan is the first gymnast to compete in this men's rings final. He's 19, from the northeast of Kazakhstan in a settlement called Pavlodar, one of the oldest cities in that part of the country. Dates back to the 9th century. He's actually probably best known as a parallel bars gymnast, but we're getting to see him here in this rings final, and good luck to him. The first time that he's made a World Cup final. There's a little adjustment to get that handstand secure. Jonassen to Yamawaki, that worked well. And he has an unfortunate tumble to the side on landing. Roman Mamenov, very promising young athlete though, isn't he? A lot to like about his form, particularly the Jonassen Yamawaki combination. He's very highly regarded in his region. Not many elite athletes actually come from the Pavlodar area in the northeast of the country. He's the first gymnast in 30 years to be awarded with a classification or designation known as Master of Sports. So they are rightly very proud of him in Pavlodar. Just wasn't fully around, hence the loss of position.
Roman Mamenov.
12.3 the score for Roman Mamenov. Down by half a mark from qualifying.
Drugi finalist,
Pau Jimenez of Spain.
The second finalist representing Spain, Pau Jimenez.
He scored 13.05 in qualification, the third strongest. But in real terms, it's the second strongest because we've lost the top qualifier. Ilya Kovtun withdrawing. Along with winning the all-around bronze medal at the national championships, Jimenez was the vault national champion and won bronze on floor and on this apparatus. He attends the Universidad Internacional de La Rioja. Working hard to hold his handstand and holding it nicely. Very similar construction to what we saw from Mamenov. But he's looking tidy at the moment, the 20-year-old. Can he hold his landing? He can. Good performance from Pau Jimenez. That may well contend for a medal.
Piće već ulazak u vježbu, odmah prvi, drugi element, vrlo zahtjevan, raširene ruke, držati karike stabilno, o čemu smo pričali, iznimno teško.
Tako je, pokazuje jedan od najatraktivnijih, najpopularnijih elementa.
He's been an exciting discovery at full international level, Pau Jimenez.
Izgleda jako teško i vidimo da se čak na tom elementu Pau je malo zatresao. Naravno, taj element je malo manje težine nego neki elementi koji rade najbolji gimnastičari na karikama, ali kao što smo mogli vidjeti ranije danas, Pau je nastupao i na preskoku. On je gimnastičar koji radi sve sprave i zbog toga možda nije najatraktivnija, najveća ocjena ovdje na karikama, ali stvarno je pohvalno što radi vrlo mirnu, staloženu vježbu i na kraju sastup je izgledao jako dobro, tako da bit će jedna lijepa ocjena konkurentna u ovom finalu.
U samoj vježbi imali oni neke elemente kroz koje moraju proći?
Not too much of a landing adjustment from the Spaniard.
Pau Jimenez.
.95, a drop of a single tenth in execution from qualification. The only difference in his routine. Will it be sufficient? Bolashkis, 12.9 in qualification. This is the gymnast who was involved in that extraordinary three-way tie at the National Championships last year with Christopher Mezaros and Benedikt Tomčani. They all shared the rings title. He is yet to find a place on a World Cup podium, Kiss. First time we've seen the Blanche position in this final. He goes the other way round to the first two, from Yamawaki to Jonasson. Hungary's Bolashkis, a difficulty score of 5.1 in qualification. The difficulty scores we've had so far, 4.8 from Maminov, 4.9 from Jimenez. So the Hungarian has a little bit of a cushion to work with. He's twice been fourth in an international still rings final, including last week in Antalya.
I adekvatno cijeniti, ali Balaš odradio dosta tešku vježbu, puno težu u odnosu na njegove prethodnike i odradio također jedan vrlo zahtjevan saskok, dupli pruženi salto sa okretom 360 u svojoj osi, tako da može očekivati jednu solidnu ocjenu.
Evo, taj doskok smo upravo vidjeli, ruke naravno visoko u zraku.
Just wonder about that movement on the landing. Might be a bit of a problem. 12.9, second place. Jimenez has held on. Kevin Penev of Bulgaria. 12.8 in qualification. 5.0 difficulty, so the middle ground between Jimenez and Kiss. Already a winner of 2 bronze medals in Osijek this weekend, floor and vault. Fourth to go in this rings final, Bulgaria's Kevin Penev. 12.95 is the leading mark so far. Penev scored 12.8 in qualification.
Now the second group of 4 finalists have 2 minutes one-touch warm-up. You may start warming up.
Ćemo se osvrnuti na Kevinov nastup, onda ćemo se dotaknuti onoga što se događa u poretku, odnosno ta mala razlika između
Quite a secure performance this from Penev.
Jako dobar, jako lijepo odradio svoju vježbu, ima dosta
Similar sorts of skills from what we've seen so far.
koji iziskuju veliku snagu, prije svega snagu ramena.
What about the clarity? As you can see from that position, quite a bit of bend in the midsection in his planche.
Jako lijepo cijelu vježbu u globalu kada se pogleda i na kraju odradio na zahtjevan saskok, prostupni skočeni salto sa 2 šaube, što je jedan od težih saskoka u gimnastičkom pravilniku, tako da može biti stvarno jako zadovoljan sa svojim izgledom.
Sad vezano uz poredak, dakle vrlo mala razlika između Paula i Kiša na tom prvom i drugom mjestu.
Tako je, razlika je 50 stotinki, što je gotovo ništa, ali u gimnastici to je jako puno, jer evo, sada je trenutno Kevin Penev preuzima prvo mjesto.
Ali i dalje ta razlika između njih dvojice stoji.
13.25. Kevin Penev, easily the strongest execution we've had so far. He goes into the lead. That's an improvement of about half a mark from the preliminary round. Penev looking good value for another medal.
Još 30 sekundi, 30 seconds left.
But we have now got a real contender to come if he can stabilise his routine from qualification, because the difficulty for Yunus Gundoğdu is absolutely difficulty to win this.
I zagrijavanje je završeno. Molimo da nastavite s natjecanjem. Warm-up is over. Please continue the competition.
From Turkey, Yunus Gundoğdu.
Peti finalist,
He scored 12.75 in the preliminary round, but with a 5.8 difficulty score and a 6.95 for execution. He has won 3 World Cup medals, but never a gold. Stable looking planche goes into Maltese. What a tight, tuck position he established in the Yamawaki. Jonasa into the iron cross, very nice. Good handstand, this should be his. Oh, he has some flickering in that handstand, controls it well. And dismounts soundly too. It's a good performance from Yunus Gundoğdu. The 26-year-old from the Aegean coast. He recently finished his degree in management at Ege University, the University of the Aegean. Competes at the World University Games in Chengdu last year as a result. Gosh, it would mean so much to him if he can win this title. He was the runner-up at the National Championships last year.
Ali stvarno je pokazao vrlo veliku mjenoću, veliku snagu i na kraju napravio jedan drugačiji saskok, dupli sklonjeni salto prema naprijed, što gimnastičari rijeđe rade, ali je saskok koji je itekako zahvalan, vrlo je donosi visoku ocjenu za težinu, iako je malo teži za doskočiti jer gimnastičar ne vidi gdje doskače nogama, ali ako se odradi kako treba može donijeti jako puno korist.
Idealno bi bilo kada bi u određenim elementima bili u ravnini karika, svako to spuštanje ramena ruku suci dodatno kažnjavaju.
poziciju u taj element koji treba zadržati i idealno bi ramena trebala biti u određenim slučajevima u visini karika, u elementima kao što su rastor ili lastavica, kako bi gimnastičar zapravo radio to najpravilnije moguće.
Yunus Bundođo.
He's close but not quite. The execution 7.05, 12.85 his score. They all just added up, those little execution issues. The lowest execution score that we've had in the final. Kevin Buckley of Slovenia in as the first reserve. The 19-year-old scored 12.6 in qualification. He competed in his first World Cup final yesterday on the pommel horse. Jonathan to the Yamawaki worked with security. Not a hugely high difficulty score we expect, but it's being well performed, this. Good gymnastics from Kevin Buckley of Slovenia. Unexpectedly coming into the final. The first reserve, standing in for Ilya Kovtun.
Sve u svemu jedna jako lijepa vježba sa nekoliko srednjih grešaka, ali sve u svemu mislim da Kevin može biti jako zadovoljan.
Možda da objasnimo samo gledateljima ovo što je sad Ivan upravo rekao, došao je u finalno mjesto Ilije Kovtuna. Dakle, kad netko od finalista odustane, umjesto njega u finale ulazi prva rezerva, ako ne može on, onda druga, treća i tako dalje. A u slučaju partera, ženskog partera, kad nijedna rezerva više nije bila ovdje ili nije bila spremna za nastup, onda smo imali 7 natjecateljica u finalu.
Jedan Kevin trenutno na vrhu, dakle Kevin Penev, drugi Kevin još čeka svoju ocjenu koja je upravo stigla i evo ih, ta Kevin na vrhu, Kevin George Buckley.
For Kevin Buckley, the score is 13. Well done to him. 8.7 execution. The first reserve has managed to slot into the silver medal position with 2 to go. Wouldn't that be a story? He's 4/10 better than qualifying. All of that down to execution. It was judged to be the best performed routine of the lot.
Sedmi finalist, predstavnik je Mađarske. The seventh finalist, representing Hungary, Szilard Zavori.
Szilard Zavori of Hungary, the second best performer in qualification with a score of 13.05. If he gets that here, then he'll slot into second place ahead of Buckley and behind Penev. Silver medalist on rings at the Masters Championships in Hungary at the end of last year. And still a new senior. First straddle planche we've seen. Oh, it's such a bold dismount, and he didn't quite get it. Really is packing in the rotations in the tuck position.
završio svoj nastup, šteta, ali to je ono što smo već više puta rekli, upravo na ovoj spravi, taj doskok je iznimno težak.
Man from Budapest, Zilard Zavary, and that will leave Kevin Buckley feeling pretty confident that he's got a place on the podium.
Nažalost, ovdje se dogodio pad, također dodirnuje rukama pod i to će suci onda penalizirati sa jednim bodom odbitka, ali bez obzira na to jedna lijepa vježba, solidna, sa nekoliko vrlo impresivnih elemenata, u više manje čista vježba i atraktivan sastup. Nažalost, taj pad će malo utjecati na konačnu ocjenu.
Dotaknemo se još nastupa Kevina Georgea Buckleya, dakle njegova početna ocjena je bila relativno niska, ali je zato izvedba bila iznimno visoka.
Upravo tako, u odnosu recimo na turskog
We have a look once more at this dismount. Nearly but not quite for Zilard Zavary.
A sada pljeskom pozdravite Zilarda Zavorija.
.2. So he was quite possibly on course to get onto the podium until that dismount. That's a shame. To the last performer of this weekend. Jermaine Grunberg of the Netherlands, the fourth best in qualification with a score of 12.95. And if he can do that, then he will probably win the execution tiebreak with Pau Jimenez and take the bronze. Oh, that's a very good hold, actually. That's a very good hold from Grunberg. And actually to get stability in the dismount after that's very impressive. Good work. A lot of composure and core strength needed there from Grunberg. He won the silver medal at the Dutch Championships on ring last year. He's been in pretty good spirits of late. He's an enormous fan of Willem II, the Dutch football team, and they are currently top of the Dutch second division. He's anticipating his favourite club having a return to the top flight.
Jermaine, dakle, posljednji natjecatelj danas, nas čeka još ceremonija proglašenja, tako da polako, ali sigurno ćemo još neko vrijeme ostati ovdje. Što se tiče Jermaina, njegov nastup smo vidjeli, još možemo samo malo prokomentirati ovu listu natjecatelja, odnosno trenutni poredak, gdje su jako male razlike zapravo između određene pozicije na tablici.
Tako je, mislim da su 4 gimnastičara smještena u 1,5 desetinku, što je jako malo, ali pogotovo na karikama to je često slučaj.
Good conclusion, especially when considering the issues in the handstand, because it would have been so easy to understand if he didn't have the physical strength in that moment to hold the end of the routine. 12.45, sixth position for him, and that means that we can confirm those three gentlemen on the podium. What a result for Kevin Buckley as the first reserve. He's won a silver medal, his first ever international honours. Brilliant accomplishment. And Kevin Penev is for the first time a World Cup champion. the classified results in the men's still rings competition. The bronze medal for Pau Jimenez of Spain, his second medal of the weekend. Kevin Buckley of Slovenia, who came in as the first reserve, wins the silver medal with a brilliant display, execution triumphing over difficulty. And Kevin Penev of Bulgaria is the champion for the first time ever at World Cup level. The victory ceremony for the men's still rings competition.
Svečanost proglašenja pobjednika u disciplini karike. Award ceremony for rings. Medalje će uručiti gospodin Neven Šavora, direktor Ureda za nacionalne sportske saveze Hrvatskog olimpijskog odbora. The medals will be presented by Mr. Neven Šavora, director of the National Sports Association's office at the Croatian Olympic Committee. Treće mjesto i brončana medalja, predstavnik Španjolske. In the third place, winning the bronze medal representing Spain, Pau Jimenez.
The winner of the bronze medal, Pau Jimenez of Spain. Matching what he did at the National Championships last year and making it 2 medals at this Osijek World Challenge Cup. This young man has established himself as one to watch.
In the second place, winning the silver medal representing Slovenia, Kevin George Buckley.
What a triumph this is. As the old saying goes, there's more than one way to build a score. And Kevin Buckley did it with execution, 8.7, easily the best of the entire final. Despite having the lowest difficulty, he has made it onto the podium. And all of that as reserve number 1. The Bulgarian Kevin Penev is the champion. Three medals won in Osijek, the first 2 bronze, and now he has a gold. For the first time ever, he will hear his national anthem played in his honour.
National anthem of Bulgaria.
The playing of Mila Rodino, Dear Motherland, the national anthem of Bulgaria. It was written by Svetisan Radoslavov in
Hvala vam svima
1885.
što ste došli, stigli smo evo polako do
The medalists in the men's still
kraja
rings competition in
našeg
Osijek.
druženja. Stigli smo do kraja 15. svjetskog gimnastičkog kupa u Osijeku, Dobro World Cup Osijek. Još jednom pljesak za naše gimnastičare, Aurel Benović, Tina Zelčić, Tin Srbić. Pljesak naravno i za sve gimnastičare koji su prodefilirali ovom dvoranom Gradske vrt u Osijeku.